All right. Unlike the previous uh, video in lesson 20, this one will be much, much shorter. I'm going to talk about quickly how to solve the Highland Craft Store problem in Excel to give you an idea and give you an opportunity to practice in solving in Excel. The first thing that you'll want to do is to, whichever Excel package that you have, you want to make sure, and you first want to add in what's called the Excel solver. Excel solver is the tool that you'll use to do all that algebraic work that we did, and it'll do it for you in a split second. All right. On a PC, and I'll have to say I'm trying to craft this for those of you who are using a PC. It is as we note down below. It's a little bit different in a Mac. I'm a Mac person, so if you have questions about that, let me know. But after that, it's all very, very similar. After the initial add-in process, it's very similar. But I wanted to talk about that briefly because you do need to add it in, otherwise you won't be able to use Solver. So first of all, select your File tab, and then on the File tab under click Options, and then select Add-ins. Once there, you'll see a Manage window that'll pop up. It's down at the bottom. Or you'll select Excel, Add-ins, and then select Go. Then a smaller window will pop up with several possible add-ins, and from among all of those add-ins available, you want to check the box next to the solver add-in and then click OK. And so it's pretty straightforward to follow these instructions. And then to find solver in Excel, you want to go to the Data tab in Excel and then look for the solver icon at the far right of the ribbon, and then you'll be ready to use solver once you see the solver icon, and it'll have the name solver there that you can look at. All right. The next is how you need to organize your spreadsheet, and this is very important to get your spreadsheet organized this way. In this spreadsheet, somewhere on the spreadsheet, you need to designate 2 cells that are empty cells. They stay empty. Don't put anything in there. Don't put any letters. Don't put any numbers. But you'll need to designate that. Those are going to be your decision variable cells. All right, they need to stay empty. And then somewhere on the spreadsheet, it doesn't matter where, you need one cell where you calculate the objective function value. Okay, so let me see if I can explain this. First of all, I want you to notice that each one of these darker blue boxes represents a cell. So this is a cell that represents the bowls. This is the one cell that represents the mugs. Both those stay empty. This will be one cell where you calculate the value or Excel calculates the value of the objective function. There's one cell where you're going to calculate, or Excel will calculate the value of the labor used and also the value of the constraint that's used for the clay. So let's go back. And for Excel, once you designate these 2 cells, and I'm just gonna this will be row 2, row 3, and I'm just gonna call it column C. So in this cell that you've designated for your objective function, you're going to calculate 40 times this value of C2, and instead of B, this will be that column C2 that goes in there. And similarly, you'll add then plus 50, and not M, but 50 times that cell value C3. And of course, when you do this, since these are empty, this is going to turn out to be initially going to be 0. And then similarly, you'll do that calculation in Excel for, and again, you'll have B and B plus 2 times M and 4B plus 3M. And again, don't want to forget the equal sign to calculate the function. Excel is going to take care of all the other things. You'll input at the appropriate time the value of less than or equal to 40, less than or equal to 120, and you're going to be able to select a checkbox to make all of the values non-negative. Okay, so again, the bare minimums that you need are empty cells for the decision variables, 1 cell for the objective function, and 1 cell for the what's called the left-hand side of each constraint. Okay, that's all that you need. Then when you go to Solver, the next thing that you would do, once you've got your spreadsheet set up, select Solver. Solver is going to appear, and you're going to tell Solver where everything is on your spreadsheet. Now, before I go to the next slide, I just want to say this is going to look really busy and it's going to look really complicated. But all I'm doing is to have for you to refer back to as you need to. I'm going to do another short video on Excel, and it'll, I think, make it much more clear. So let me go to this. This window is what you'll see when you click Solver from the Data tab. There's several windows that need to be filled in, and that you work from top to bottom. The first thing you're going to do is select, and all this does is tell Excel where everything is. In this little box, you're going to click this box, and then choose the row, the 1 cell where your objective function is. And then step 2, you're going to select and tell Excel whether it's either a maximization or a minimization problem. Click the appropriate radio button. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to select, and RC means row and column, location of wherever your decision variable cells are. All right, again, you select this box, click it, and then choose the cells where your decision variables will be. Then the next step in the process is you're going to add your constraints. And so you want to click your add constraint button, and another window will pop up. And in this window, you're going to add the location of where you've calculated the constraint formula. There'll be a drop-down menu where you can select less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and in this box, you're going to enter the number 40 for labor constraint, or of course 120 for when you enter the clay constraint. Once you've got that done correctly, you click OK, and then you repeat that process again for every other constraint. So you hit Add again, enter the cell location, select the correct inequality, and then type in your constraint value, and then click OK until your constraints are all done. Okay. Lastly, next to the last, or 2 more steps, you'll want to move down to this box and make sure that it's checked to make unconstrained variables non-negative. This is where you enter your non-negativity constraints. Next to the last step is the solving method. There's several solving methods in here. It's a drop-down menu, and you'll want to make sure it says simplex LP. And then once all of that's done, you want to go back and make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be. I've seen students, one of the most common errors is to select the wrong radio button. Select a maximum or leave it as a maximum when it's a minimum, or vice versa, so that pay attention to the detail. Then once that's all done and you're set, you should be able to click solve, and in a split second it will give you the answer. So that's it for a quick overview of Excel Solver. Again, I'm gonna put together another short slide to talk about actually in Excel, so you can actually see it at work.